Welcome to Far Reach Voyages, where we share our love of offshore sailing and adventure travel. I've been asked many times, what's the best way to learn to sail offshore? Well, there is no one way. After a lifetime of sailing, what I will say is you can't really learn how to sail well by watching YouTube. There's very little opportunity for detail or nuance in most videos. Oftentimes a video is built more for entertainment or inspiration than education. There just isn't enough detailed information there for most people. Also, there's seldom any vetting of the information presented. You can't be sure of its accuracy or even its legitimacy. Learning how to sail well, and especially offshore, requires both training and education. Training consists of drills and exercises. The purpose of training is to teach skills and techniques like boat handling, tacking, jibing, reefing, anchoring, man overboard drills, and so on. We teach and learn these skills through repetition of tasks. The purpose of education is how to apply those skills. Oversimplified, we can call it judgment. We learn judgment by learning how to think rather than what to think. Education is designed to develop a thinking skipper. The skipper's primary tool to ensure a safe, successful voyage is not more equipment. It's a better educated mind. The development of the mind never stops. More gear and technology can't overcome poor judgment or a lack of education in the art and science of sailing, and you won't learn judgment on YouTube. In a perfect world, we'd start sailing when we were kids in Optimus prams, and then progress to high-performance dinghies and then on to keel boats. Later, it'd be a simple transition to voyaging, since we had a solid foundation in the art and science of sailing. While a lucky few learn to sail that way, most don't. Many people are introduced to sailing later in life, and the fact is, it's not a requirement to learn to sail as a child to successfully voyage as an adult. Training is the easy part. Attend a few sailing courses, hopefully you'll start in a dinghy. Hire a skilled coach, focus on the basics, then refine those skills through repetitive tasks. Practice, practice, practice. We do that mostly on the water. Education is harder. While we can learn a lot by watching others and sailing with a skilled captain, the reality is for many sailors, education comes primarily through self-study. And that brings me to reading. While there are many different ways to learn, when it comes to taking a deep dive into mastering most subjects, numerous studies have shown that the written word is the most effective way to present complex information fully and thoroughly. And make no mistake, when sailing offshore, the details matter. And I don't care how skilled a sailor you are, you can always learn and should be learning more. There's a saying I learned a long time ago when it comes to the importance of reading to learn. These days I would say it like this. There's nothing I can do about having a 60-year-old body, but there's no excuse for not having a 5,000-year-old mind. So reading gives us a chance to learn the details from others. We gain insight and wisdom from what they experienced. And if you choose those books carefully, you can learn hard-won lessons from legendary sailors. So your first gale at sea isn't really your first gale. You were there with Joshua Slocum, John Guswell, Harry Pigeon, Eric Hiscock, or Hal Roth. I've been using the term read, but that's not what I really mean. It's not enough to read a book about sailing. What I really mean is to study a book about sailing, seeking to understand the why in a skipper's decision-making. Why did he or she make the crossing in that time of year? Or why did they choose that particular route? Why did they heave to instead of run off? Why did they want a boom gallows on their voyaging boat? Why did they want dedicated sea berths or separate water tanks or an analog engine that was simple to maintain? What did they learn in their years of voyaging? Unlike YouTube videos that can be made in hours or days, books take a long time to write. The authors have to think and reflect as they put those words down. Their writing gets scrutinized through the editing process. They're vetted for accuracy. Books have played a significant role in the development of my sailing knowledge and skill. So picking the right book is important. I learned from an early age that keeping things simple on a boat improved my sailing experience. This was reinforced during a long career in the Marines, where I learned that when things start to go sideways, the simple becomes difficult and the difficult becomes impossible. My keep it simple philosophy for sailing has been reinforced by the many books I've studied. All the books in my library have this common theme. Ensure the boat is strong enough for the intended task. Reduce complexity. Keep it simple. And develop the skills necessary to become a competent and self-sufficient sailor. Here's a look at part of my library. I've read all these books and most of them multiple times. I've marked important learning points and made notes in the margins, and I return to these books over and over again. With increasing experience and better insight, I continue to draw new lessons each time I turn to them. When I'm out sailing, I often feel the presence of these great sailors looking over my shoulder, and I sometimes hear them whispering in my ear. This video was an introduction into the new FRV Library series, where I'll share insights on books that have formed the foundation of my sailing education. This series doesn't replace my regular videos about voyaging and maintaining the far reach. The FRV Library series is additive. These videos will be in a short format and are intended to pique your interest in books and authors you may not be familiar with and might be useful to you as you seek to improve your own knowledge and skills in offshore sailing and especially voyaging. If you want to learn more about these books, then look for future videos in the FRV Library series. Or better yet, if you're not already subscribed to Far Reach Voyages, consider subscribing and also pressing the notification bell so you won't miss the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode of Far Reach Voyages, let us know in the comments. Also, consider liking and subscribing, as it tells us you would like to see more videos and it helps the channel grow. See you in the next episode.